Mike Pereira is our guest from Fox Sports, of course, the best NFL rules analyst. When you watch him, he gets those calls right every single time. Man, how many times are you going to be asked about the Chiefs and officiating this week?
What is there a controversy? Huh? I didn't know anything about it. Did you, Vernon? My guy's taking me around. He didn't. Chiefs? No, it's hard. It's hard because I put myself into the mindset of the officials, which is where I go, and it's just not true. It's not even conceivable. I respect the fact, and I understand why they would think that, because if you look at stats, you can see that the number of calls benefit the Chiefs far more, than it benefits their opponents. And, I think about the fact of, there is something to the fact that the Chiefs, in my opinion, have the best head coach in the game. They have the best quarterback in the game right now, and they find ways to win. They're disciplined. You look at a lot of the rule stats, and where's the discrepancy in the number of fouls between teams? Things like offside, false starts, discipline types of things, which Chiefs are pretty low on. So the fact that it's even conceivable, and I just look at my own personal history, the 2 years that I was on the field, nobody ever told me in the playoff game that I had, which was the Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, where I made a call that I failed to make a call that I should have made early in the game that went against the Broncos. And you never forget those mistakes.
So it all started with you then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but then I came back and ruled Tony Gonzalez not being forced out and gave him a touchdown in the fourth quarter. So, but nobody ever said anything to me about thinking one way or the other. And then I ran the program for 12 years, and I never told anybody, okay, the league wants this, or I want this, and call this or don't call this. We want this team to win. It's just you don't understand officiating if you think that could even be possible. There's the outliers. There's the Tim Donaghy that in the NBA that got involved with a gambler. And I think the best thing that came out of that, at least for us in the NFL, is Roger Goodell came down to my office and said, when this thing broke with the NBA, he said, the good thing is it wasn't us, but let's pretend like it was. So we tightened up all of our security measures. We then, did background checks during the season on the officials. We didn't let them know where they were going until 3 weeks before the game. So we used to let them know all 17 weeks. Well, if somebody out there wanted to try to get to official, knowing that in week 17, 12 weeks from now, that he'd be working that game, maybe that might open up an opportunity for that guy. So we changed all of our things, and we haven't had an issue, and it's just – the officials are taking the brunt of it, and they're big guys. They're tough guys, but it's hard. It's hard to read that, knowing that you made a call that's iffy at best and probably one that was better not called, and then having it blow up into a whole thing about it being, a biased for a team. But everything in social media grows, and it grows fast, and it's just unfortunate.
Mike Pereira is our guest, of course, Fox's NFL rules expert, the best in the business. Mike, what is the review process after a game? And, okay, you make a mistake, we understand. And I have a friend who's a former NHL official, and I asked him one time during a game, there was a bad call. He goes, Moach, sometimes guys just can't see their line of sight, and it's okay. Maybe it's your job as an official to gain that line of sight, but at the same time, you're not going to see everything. So there are going to be mistakes that are going to be made, but what about the review process? How does that work in trying to correct those mistakes?
Well, I mean, it depends on the game. It's a little bit different in the NBA and Major League Baseball than it is like in NFL football, right? Because it's a once-a-week game, and so you don't have games every night. So the review process the scrutiny is unbelievable in the NFL, all the way back to when I was on the field, my 12 years in the office. Every damn play is looked at. Every play, and likely looked at it from the coaching tape, which is from the 50-yard line, kind of a wide shot, and then a tight shot from the end zones, and then the TV shot and the TV replays. And It's really intense, and all records are kept on all of that. And guys and girls actually do get replaced. Each year they get replaced if they don't reach a standard that has to be reached to make it deemed to be worthy of working in the league. So the scrutiny is unbelievable. And I will say this, it was like, to me, it was like the one area of NFL officiating, the anxiety area, waiting to get your grades. You would get your grades on Wednesday. You were like a student, you'd find out, yeah, you got a downgrade for this. And you'd fight and say, oh, well, no, but I couldn't see this because there was a player in between me. And we were like, then get in the position where you can see it. It's tough. It's tough. And your point, like, obvious things get missed, and they go, how do you miss it? Well, they miss it because they didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. There's 7 officials officiating 22 guys, and you don't see everything. But it's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Mike Pereira is our guest for a couple more minutes. Mike, we talk about the teams, Philadelphia and Kansas City. A lot of times people forget about that third team, which is the officials, and you obviously make that point when we talk to you. How much pressure do these officials feel, right? I mean, I imagine the players must feel the pressure, but as an official, man, there's so much pressure on you to make that right call, and you don't want to be the guy that blows a call and might even cost the team a championship.
And, they read the newspapers and they read social media. Not all of them do they don't do it, but they read it. So they know the controversy that's out there. It's added a layer of pressure on them for this game. But, they also know that they never work a game with 120 million people watching it. And it's a number that we're looking for, hopefully a little higher, at Fox. But you've got 120 million people. You've got every other official in the league watching. And so there's a huge amount of pressure. And this game to them is the pinnacle of their career. I mean, they work to get the Super Bowl. That's the big goal, and we used to laugh about it because it's different than any other game, because this celebration of getting the plum, your wife wants to go, your kids want to go, your aunts and uncles want to go, your neighbors want to go, and you now travel with the party, which you never do during the course of the regular season. So you're concerned about them. It's a whole different environment, the Super Bowl is. But they'll lock down on Saturday, just like they do during the regular season, and do all the preparation they need to do. But I promise you that before kickoff, the nerves that they're going to have are going to be completely different than the ones they had during the regular season, or even during the wild card division or championship. This is it. I mean, the officiating, the off-season officiating story, if this game goes good, officiating-wise, then it's not going to be talked about that much in the off-season. If it continues and we have the same type of hysteria based on some calls that are made here, then it's going to be a long off-season.
Mike, Wally Wana, winningest coach in Canadian Football League history, had a great line. He says, don't put yourself in a position for the officials to decide the outcome of the game.
Right.
And, and everyone's going crazy about Josh Allen. He had the first down. Hey, how about you gain 2 yards on that play and take the officials out of it, right? I mean, I'm like, people are going nuts on the officials. I'm like, how about you execute the play and pick up 3 yards? And we're not even talking about the officials, right? So that, to me, sometimes when I hear these people that just rant and rave about officiating, and, I understand, they're fanatics. And I'll be honest, sometimes when I'm doing the Lions game, I get a little carried away because I have a passion. That's our team. That's my team, so to speak. So I shouldn't be one to talk. But at the same time, you have to understand that they are professionals. All right, before we let you go, what do you guys got planned on Fox? Can you give us any details on what the coverage is going to be like this week, or even what you're going to be doing?
Well, I mean, I think for me it's the norm. I think the fun part is going to be Tom Brady, and the fact that, he's working the Super Bowl in his first year, and he's so pumped and he's so prepared. I think that it's been, like, for me, standing next to him in the booth when I'm on the road with him, it's just been pure joy. So I can't wait to see him perform and succeed in this big game for him. He didn't like have any in booth preparation before this year. I mean, he came right from his off year into the broadcast booth, where others are either worked with other crews before, or even in Troy's case, who I love, worked in NFL Europe and then worked in a 3-man booth. Tom got thrown right into it. And so I'm anxious to see how he is going to be leading up to the start of the game, because I don't think I've ever seen a guy that prepares harder than he does and knows more than he does and gets more excited than he does.
I'm just thinking, like, we've seen these scenes on Tom on the sidelines, and he's kind of maybe snapping at somebody, expecting somebody to be playing at a certain level. I hope he doesn't do that to the guys with the Fox crew.
Oh, my God. We laughed. We had a game a few weeks ago, and I think it was in the wild card thing, and there was contact on a receiver in a passing play, and he just said right off the bat, he said, "Oh, that's a good no call. He went around the back and knocked the ball away. Right, Mike?" And I went, "Tom, that's pass interference. That's pass interference. That's a foul." And then in the NFL called me, he said, "Tell Tom that if that had been his game and he was the quarterback, he would have did what he always did, run downfield to argue the fact that the flag wasn't thrown."
There you go.
And, so it's really been fun.
Mike, it's been fun talking to you. It always is, and I'm glad that you're feeling less pain. Obviously, still got to deal with some of it, but good news is you're up and about. You're back.
Yeah.
And would love to see you back in Vancouver.
I'd love to go back.
Next time we'll go all the way up to Whistler instead of halfway up.
That was a great ride. That was such a beautiful ride.
Up to Lions Bay. It was a good time.
As long as we go to Joe Forte's, I'm fine.
There you go. There's a reason to come back. Mike.
I mean, I love the drive, but if it's the drive versus dinner there, I'd like to eat. I'd like to eat
We'll do both. We'll do both. Mike Pereira, thanks so much for stopping by.
You got it.